This is the room. Nice telly there, opposite fair sized bed. Her ladyship in the corner. And the tea and coffee making facilities over yonder. Small but functional bathroom. Well, shower room. Looks like it'll be okay. It's a fairly large shower head. Basically an art deco feel to the foyer, where the lifts are anyway. Has a nice, very nice feel to it. Slightly updated of course, but still the marble and the art deco lines. Oh, this is the grace. This is the facade. And we're heading down the road to the Queen Victoria building. All of the sandstone facades and then the concrete. But the older buildings are all chock-a-block full of sandstone. Give you a bit of a close-up of what the sandstone's like. It's Sydney sandstone, because basically Sydney's on a sandstone block. You can see up there past the bus, Queen Victoria building with all the greenery of the copper top. Electric rental bikes, the curse of every city. And that dear old girl is the Queen Victoria building. Used to be the Queen Victoria Market. I'll put a link to a bit more history at the end of the video, but it is a magnificent building. And as you can see, it's another one of the sandstone buildings of Sydney. It's an awful lot of work, carving work in that sandstone. And the copper domes that are covered in verdigris are the weatherproof top of the building. You can see there's a fair bit of repetition of the pattern until we get down to here on the grand entrance. We'll walk around and see that from the front. As I say, she's an impressive entrance. Not sure what they represent up there, but we can look into that. And then the archway, and people there on the stairs going up to the first floor. And the entrance there, that black line bottom of the screen here is in the exit to a car park, not part of the building. But it is an impressive piece of masonry, all the way up to that dome at the top. And a little bit further on, looking back at that entrance, and you can see that the colonnades and whatnot and the patterns continue with smaller domes and the skyscrapers in the background. But, it's just an imposing building. This is the southern facade. It's basically a long, narrow building between York and, I don't know, I guess that'd be George Street, I think. And that's the miserable old bugger it was named after, Queen Victoria. Even there she looks like she can suck the sour out of a lemon. And there's Vicky again. And across the way is the town hall, which was originally on a block of land that was originally the cemetery of Sydney Town. There's a view further back of the southern facade, all the way up to the domes and whatnot. It's really an impressive building. Like, subscribe and comment. People getting their photo took out the front, and we'll wander in and have a look around. Welcome. And an old-fashioned lift. We might take that. Been a few years since I lived in Sydney, and by golly, it's Sunday, so it's quite busy. There are people everywhere. It's just about at the ground floor. Can't be long now. And here it comes. And there it goes, down to the lower ground floor. We'll catch it on the way back. Arrows now pointing up, which is always a good sign. And here it is, heading up to the top. We ended up jumping off on 2 because 3 and 4 are office levels. So this is the upper deck. I say deck because it's almost like it is a giant ship. Cafes, the Leica shop, the photography at its best, and cameras as well. And they keep the royal theme going. This clock was put in by people that are clockmakers to QE2. He's gone now. More of your high-end stuff here in the top level. We have a nice view here over the railing for the Chinese New Year celebration, which is fairly soon, I believe. Going from the Year of the Horse, going into the Year of the Horse, I believe. More fooderies up this end, with a more genteel feel about them, and another clock. You can see the old cast iron style roof that was quite popular in the 19th century. And you can also see some more modern fixtures added to keep everything upright for the escalators. I have had some moments of panic on these escalators, but we'll see how we go. Just hide behind the camera and hit the escalators and avoid looking for the heights. Just look into the camera, John, and down we come to level 1, where there's more food places and fashion and whatnot. And on this level we'll have another look at those clocks and whatnot from underneath. It is 8 minutes past 3, so why it's saying it's 20 to 7 and 7:15, I have no idea. So clearly it's not functioning. Here we have that Chinese Year of the Horse display. It looks more like a horse from this angle. I'll go down and show you the stairway that leads us down. That's near the Year of the Horse display. And you can see that we're the bit we saw in from the western facade. There we go, down the stairs. And as you can see across the road, the older buildings still have that sandstone feel. We'll follow these stairs down. Nice brass handrail, nice wooden balustrade, circular stairs of a quite impressive look. And as we come out off the stairs, there's the rest of the Year of the Horse demonstration. And that takes us out of the main entrance on the western facade that we saw from the other side of the road. Lots of stained glass windows and granite there in amongst all the sandstone. Quite an impressive sight. But wait, there's more. Down to the lower ground floor. Now this connects up to the rail system, the City Circle. Town Hall's the nearest station here. And that's easy enough to get to. In fact, you rarely need to come to the surface with all the arcades that are available now. And down on the lower ground floor there's more of your more plebeian treats. more sugar, and different sorts of clothing. Bit of corsetry there, always good for a hoot. Sandal shoes, a glue store, the things you see. Calvin Klein certainly come down in the world. And then it gets you through to a sushi bar at the end there, if that's your thing. Otherwise you can follow the arcade through to, I think, Centre Point, if I'm not mistaken. And there's a lot less of the original building down here. It's all more, it's more of a standard modern thing. It's might as well be an arcade anywhere. But if you look up, you can see the balustrading and the levels up to the roof. Coming up onto the street, we have the northeastern facade, northeastern corner of the QVB, highlighted again by those copper domes that are covered in verdigris. Very prominent. Okay, we've been wandering a bit. We're about to hit the Pitt Street Mall, which, funnily enough, is a pedestrian-only area. And there it is. You get an idea of just how many people there are in town today. And if we look up, we find the top of the Centre Point Tower. Fairly obvious from outside the city. One of the landmarks along with the Harbour Bridge and the Opera House. Well, now that's a surprise. We won't go in, we'll save that for our trip to Japan. Second half of March. Now then, this is an old stomping ground of mine. There used to be a really good cafe in here. Let's have a look. I suspect it's long gone, but we'll see. It used to have huge coffee grinder in the window, and yeah, does appear to have gone walkabout. Everything's now hiring stuff. Probably tells you what the place was like originally. There was a fire here. Last century, sometime. Gutted the place, but it's been rebuilt. You can see the wire cast iron up there and the balustrading. And up there on the top level, there used to be ballet supply companies where you could get shoes and leotards and tutus and stuff for your kids. Perhaps not the best advertisement. He only lived at 56. Well, then that was before vaccines and antibiotics, so who knows what got him. It wouldn't be late stage capitalism without a chemist warehouse and a McDonald's right next to each other. And to complete the trio, we go from Macca's to an Apple store. Yep. I really do love my Apple products, but the behaviour of the CEO under the Trump business is, well, to be blunt, a bit questionable. Coming down the street is one of the Sydney Light Rail. What's called trams everywhere else, but having gotten rid of the trams, they had to rename them something else. Quite efficient people movers, and now generally just part of the city. Fair size too. When you least expect it, there's another Art Deco building. This one's the ACA building. We go over and have a look up. All the classic elements of straight lines and just a hint of, oh, I don't know, modernity about it. All the work involved. This does look to be concrete that's been moulded, but the effect is the same as the original sandstone would have been. And with the brass above the door and Sort of semi-aircraft inspired decorations on the door. Here's the Grace Hotel, very much in your Art Deco style. Very impressive. I do like the aesthetic for domestic, but it's also really good for commercial buildings. Well, we made the mistake of coming out without the spare batteries, and we're down to about the last third of the battery. I think we've got enough for this intro to the Queen Victoria building, a bit of a walk around Sydney Town, a bit more tomorrow when we head to the cruise.